Hi guys, I'm working on annual 2019 Taroscopes. They're actually lots of fun. They give you lots of insight about every single segment of your life. And it's kind of like divided by quarters. It's divided by section of your life. And it's going to be a really interesting guide. It was really well received last year. So now this is your time to get them one sign for 1995 or all signs. So you can check your ascendant, you can check your moon sign, you can check your friends, somebody that you're like having an eye on for $39.95. It is a really good time to order right now because the moment when I deliver the first one, the price is going up to $29.95 and to $39.95. So yeah, I invite you to order. Like, the link is down in the description. You can see it, you can go right there, and this is like really good time to take advantage of. So for those of you who are steady subscribers, please do that. It's great for you, it's great for me to support my channel. And those of you who are here the first time, you can actually check my timelines, and you can see I released them somewhere late in July, so you can see how they look like. Okay guys, so let's start with the reading. Hello Pisces, and welcome to your next 30 days. This is valid anytime that you kind of like jumped and watched this, because that's really how it works. You're here at the right time. And this is a general reading, so make sure that you are checking your ascendant and you are checking your moon sign. In the description below you can find a link if you don't know which one it is, to kind of like detect, and that you kind of like put everything together. Of course, private reading is the best. So meditation on your sign gave me Pisces, fluidity. So let's see where this leads us. Let's get more messages for Pisces for the next 30 days. Pisces, no, I only want one. Pisces, for the next 30 days, I need one card. Pisces. And there it is. You got healing, of course. It was reversed, so I'm going to see why it's like that, issuing a warning. It's kind of like you need to do an annual checkup or something like that. This one wanted to come out. New beginnings. Was health your concern, Pisces, recently? Because something is going to get, you're not going to be confused over something that has been considerable kind of like pressure. And you have, stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. Well, that's a lovely message. And what do we have here? We have animals. The animal world is calling you. Watch for signs and messages from animals. That's a very powerful message, I have to say. Whenever I get this, this is talking about the spirit animal. It could be simply that you will just like simply see an animal in the nature. An animal is going to come to you, maybe ask you to follow, because maybe you need to rescue something, right? Or you're going to see something, maybe buying a pet food, and you're going to donate something. This is an extremely strong card, right? This is kind of like we are talking about this rose center, which kind of like it's talking about this karmic kind of like trouble over here. And animals are often seen as bringers of signs and messages, right? So pay particular attention to anything that really appears around you, and doesn't have to be in a physical form. It can be in your dreams. It could be simply just like a it could be simply physical, walking up to you, birds, cats, dogs. It could be wildlife, could be like insects, could be bees, could be just like simply a fly, right? All of them are going to have some aspect that is going to affect you. But also pay attention to your dreams and to your meditations. And if you guys have any particular issue on your mind, then you need to think how the appearance of or behavior of a certain animal may be offering you guidance. And you need to really learn from them, and also see how they basically deal with things. Just before I started to read, And I was like dead set, kind of like, let's start. Matrix came to the table, my little black kitty, and he just like really wanted to be embraced and hugged and kissed and head bump. And of course I wanted to do what I want, but I said to myself, he came to say hi. I mean, I do the same thing. I walk to the bedroom where he and Safi sleep most of the day, and I kind of like kiss them and I hug them. And when they come here, it's kind of like talking about the gentleness, and it is definitely a part of your reading. It is a message. So the fluidity is like something I was getting as he was like coming over here. This is very important. It's not going to be something for you that is going to be really fixed. It's going to be very much moving target, and you will have to be also very flexible this month, because I see this healing as kind of like something that really needs to happen. Maybe some of you are feeling hurt. Maybe some of you are absolutely feeling physically in some kind of like pain, and now there is a need for kind of like connecting things together. To me, this is actually a really wonderful card. In particular, you could be a little bit depressed. Well, hello, Northern Hemisphere. That can kind of like make sense, right? Like, I mean, it's like a sad seasonal affective disorder depression could be happening these days. That kind of like goes without saying, right? But healing is like that lovely kind of like card that is like really talking about possibly even somebody arriving in your life who will actually offer you a rose or a date or such a sweet word that you're going to just like feel like the sun is shining just like right on you, right? So this is also talking about some kind of like deeply buried wounds of the past to kind of like come to the surface and kind of like let them go. They're ready to be healed. And that's why this picture is showing a naked person, because that's talking about being vulnerable, being like refreshed, kind of like getting this like warm hug from love itself. So this is a king of water, and it is like really important, like this is really related to your sign, and that will be Pisces. And when we are under this kind of like healing influence of the king of water, we are like, I mean, no longer hiding, like, I mean, from ourselves or from others. It is like kind of like the attitude of openness and acceptance. And we also are going to be helping others to be kind of like one and whole. And it's going to be really, really important. Since there is a new beginnings, since there is like dawn, like what happened before dawn? There was like night, right? So some of you could have been going through confusion. Some of you may have been going through the period of kind of like not really knowing where you belong or where you really want to be. So the dawn is like something that kind of like all of us give this like unbelievable exhilarated feeling, right? Like, I mean, if you ever wake up at this morning, at this time of a day, right? Like, you really feel almost as if you kind of like watched a miracle. It is like really something. But yet this is kind of like predictable. That first light is kind of like a waking up, like this almost like wings of the sun, right? Those sun rays, as they call them. So, and we see these rays over here. So I think that is really important. You are getting and I think these animals, they are spirit animals, but you are surrounded by the angels. And some of you might have your animals that you see could be angels that are approaching you that way. So be open and be receptive to do that, right? So it's kind of like a thing that is going to be very hard to pinpoint where this darkness stops and where this like new thing kind of like begins. So it's kind of like definitely time to say farewell to the old and kind of like start the new by releasing any possible self-constraint or any resistance. But I really think that you have been dreaming of some kind of like adventure and about love life and about something really, really new. And it's kind of like, it's really, really visible to me that, any kind of like doubts that you used to have and uncertainties are going to arise. But this time around, you're going to just like listen to them, but you're not going to take them to your heart. You're going to say, I hear you, but let's agree to disagree. I need to let you go. I need to kind of like go in a new direction. So if a cat comes and kind of like looks at you, that certainly means that you are needing to go in a new direction. This also simply can mean that you might even meet a person who is going to have a badge or a t-shirt that's going to show an animal. If you ever watched the movie Matrix, Neo, who was waking up from the dream thinking that he was like having a nightmare or hallucinating, they told him in that hallucination, follow the white rabbit. So he's like totally thinking, okay, I'm off, I'm overworked, overstressed. So this woman knocks on a door, and he's of course saying no, thinking it's a salesperson, and she's like kind of like dressed in this black leather, very pretty woman, but like he's very suspicious. So she says, okay, fine. She turns around and he sees her naked shoulder, and she has a tattoo of a white rabbit. So he follows it. So if you didn't see the movie, it's a really, really good one to see. Okay, so let me now shuffle these cards and see what other messages you have for this. I love this card, the floating cat, the hanged man. This is like literally talking about transformation and looking at things from a different perspective. And transformation comes in many guises, right? It could be a very dramatic method, right? And kind of like putting your whole world upside down. But is it easier to change the world, or is it easier to change yourself, right? So we go. This is like simply kind of like applying a different method, so you don't continue with doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different result. Now you're actually applying something different, and you're like truthfully expecting different and better result. So it might be something that is uncomfortable. It could be something that needs to kind of like be twisted. It might be something that kind of like it's in the process of self-preservation, such as ego. And you truly, this is calling for like letting go of that and just like simply kind of like having this fluidity to go with the flow. Remember, you're always supported with spirit. Like this month, you're getting like angels literally surrounding you. You have been, looks like some of you, praying and hoping for something better, and here it is. It's arriving to clean you off of any dirt, of any mud that you walked with in the house. And now they're asking you in turn, you need to really look at things from a different angle. Now this was reversed. So it's telling me that there is going to be hesitancy. Yes, you want something different, but you don't want to change anything. Just like things should be different. Well, if you really want a promotion at work and you want to work 2 hours a day, right? Two of them do not marry. So you have to understand that certain change and certain sacrifice is a part of this. And I really feel here it's connecting to shedding the old. So let's see. Then we have Sky Tome. Sky Tome is like all about being on a point and something harsh. And this could be kind of like rough messages, or it could be that maybe somebody in your life has the presence of somebody who insists on the truth. But when Sky Tome reverses, that person insists on their truths. So the truth is universal. It kind of like doesn't have like two sides. It just like has kind of like how we see it. And that's why in the court, it's kind of like they take these two sides and try to form the picture, what has really happened, right? Because we experience things emotionally. This could be somebody who is in your life, who maybe always see a glass half empty. I don't think this is you for some reason. And somebody who is like really ready to pounce. And then we have the Sun, and it's also reversed. Well, the Sun is good reversed or not reversed, and like this is a repetition like several times that we have this reflection of the Sun. So it is clearly about who you let in your life and who you don't. Look at that. In the circle of friends, they're the close ones. Some of them are on the arm's length, and some of them are just like not even going to be able to come close. So it is like simply kind of like putting yourself together, and maybe you're just like completely burnt out of dealing with people who are just like difficult and disagreeable. And you know, it's some people things just like, I mean, flow. With others, look, it is so hard. Every minute looks like a century, right? So remember, fluidity. If somebody is difficult, don't go through them, go around them, and that can actually benefit you. You have 3 of Earth reversed. Maybe somebody just like really didn't want to be a team player. This person is very, very independent, and this is really good for them. This is also talking about some kind of like new beginning and kind of like getting into that new fresh start for you, where you don't need to kind of cut the cords and let somebody behind. You're moving forward. If they want to follow, great. If they don't follow, you're fine with that, right? Because I see that somebody was like just not willing to be part of how you conceptualize things, and this may have made you sad. This have made you think this is not right, and this is like so easy to achieve what I want. But people are people. It is just like the best you can do right now is that you kind of like feel this renewed strength and optimism in yourself, because sometimes that's all that's needed, that everything and everybody in our environment kind of like opens up. We have Strength reversed. I don't know, guys, if you have a Leo, because Leo's energy is coming through really, really strongly. And also you have animals. So this is not necessarily somebody born in the sign of a Leo or having their ascendant or having a strong astrological positioning of a Leo, like a 5th house or 7th house. I really think in particular it could be cats that will be bringing you messages. So pay attention, don't shove them around, listen to them when they approach you, and see what they are trying to communicate. It sounds to me that some of them might try to get in your lap or even lie down on you when you're lying down, because there is like this essence, like I'm picking up on a huge healing, and it's not going to be just you. Like your angels are there to kind of like send you those kind of like vibrations. Those vibes will be sent to you, and animals will be also doing that. So if you have animals, this is going to be definitely something that you'll probably experience in this time period. The Strength card talks about don't fight it when it reverses. Just, again, go with the flow. It sounds to me that you are so used to dealing with somebody in a kind of like abrasive way, and each time it makes you feel disillusioned, it makes you feel disheartened, right? Why this has to be. Maybe it's a time to stop fighting. Maybe it's a time to put this line in the sand and saying, look, I really cannot take this. There is no need for this kind of communication. We have Ace of Earth. It's reversed. So Ace of Earth is talking about new beginnings. I think I'll have to take my gypsy cards with this and kind of like get some kind of like clarifications later. Let me see and find it, because this is actually very interesting reading, because it is, and I'm starting to understand why you're having all this fluidity, because it looks like a lots of challenges are coming your place. Now, when the Sun card shows up in the reading, it can be a negative card, every other one, and this is kind of like really cleaning it. Sun has that healing energy, right? Because the Ace of Earth is telling me that there is like something that you really wanted to go in certain direction. There are some goals that you kind of like set for yourself, and this actually requires a little bit more planning. This requires something that was like amiss. This may have related to something in the past where you have been a part of a teamwork. It could be a part of a corporation where, you know, like you were really working very hard. It could be part of the family or with a partner. In any case, it sounds to me it was like more than one person, and something is not lining up over here from what I see, because this is really telling me about some long-term opportunity may have been overlooked. So we'll see what is this all about. Then you have 10 of Earth, and now that's interesting because we have from 1 to 10. And of course, and I think this is kind of like, it's more or less nothing more than talking about your temperament, right? You guys definitely want to make everybody comfortable, because look at that. They're like snuggling and hugging and cat in a box. It's almost like paradise for each one of them, having their spot, having their place in the sun. So this is kind of like somebody who is really eager to accommodate, really eager to help others feel comfortable. They're pentacles, they're not water. So we are not in emotional realm. We are here in realm of now, of what do I need to do? Hey, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? What can I get for you, right? It maybe it's a realization, because look at this, like you have this, like it's a 1, it's a 10, it's a 10. It's a shift. It's a completely shift. It's a new beginning. And you're shifting, possibly, not necessarily from another person, even though I see that as well for some of you. You're simply shifting in a new direction, where you're saying, you know, maybe there is also trouble with the family members. Maybe you feel programmed. Some of you think you're being used by family, especially by the elderly parents. I see that over here, who kind of like want to saddle you with something that they want, and it's not necessarily something that you want. And maybe this is something that is like really upsetting you. That can actually indicate that as well. In any case, there is, for some of you, really a person who is sort of like a fly in the ointment over here, that is kind of like there for a reason. And that person and you have this intricate connection. There is like this energy, and this energy over here is telling me that you're at the end of your, basically, you know, rope, kind of like really tired of it. So let's see your emotions. And it is like 4 of Sea. The kitty cat is like so exhausted and so tired that kind of like even lobsters are not really interesting, right? Imagine that happening, that how good of, you know, and full this kitty should be. But on a closer look at these eyes. Of course, you see nothing. You see a big blur. Let me see, because you need to see this. It's sad. These eyes sad. Like it's almost like that the kitty is crying. So what happened that this kitty is crying? What happens to kind of like be this lifeless? So this reversed, which is good, which kind of like tells me that, you see, there was like something that you feel it was lost. And you know, the biggest loss is like when you put your faith into something that you really wanted to work out, that you wanted to heal, and you looks like wanting to do that as a collective thing. Let's all kind of like come to the table. Let's all kind of come to some kind of solution. But I really don't think that was like their plan. And this looks like something that is making you really vulnerable. But at the same time, this is better when it reverses, because you're kind of getting out of this funk. And you're realizing, you know, tomorrow is another day. I have to keep going. I have to move forward. And kind of like I need to kind of like get myself out of it, because you wanted so much. But you wanted something from somebody who was not able to apply that change. it was like somebody that you dealt with who was like very rigid and who was like very susceptible to other people's opinions as well. And it kind of like sometimes it felt against working against this entire world, and it just like felt hard. And I can see that from time to time you would probably just like clam up and not be able to kind of open up to kind of like move forward. Your environment, 7 of Fire. So that's lots of arguing, that's lots of fighting, who is right, who is wrong. You're finding yourself in situations where people are insisting about on their opinions. Maybe they're like overly opinionated. And I really think this is the part of like your energy drain. I'm feeling a huge energy drain. And it is like simply because you kind of like lift the plug. You're allowing that energy to kind of like leak out. So you need to kind of like put a stop to certain things. So something that is annoying you, something that is upsetting you, something that is kind of like all encompassing, kind of like really needs to stop. So hopes and fears. And now I think by now you got every single card reversed. This is actually good news, and I'll tell you in a moment why. So you're getting a Fire Kitten. So be very careful of overreacting. Be very careful of kind of like jumping in a third or fourth gear before going in the first and the second one. This is just telling me, yeah, you're moving forward. There's like new enthusiasm. Maybe you're also willing to engage in all this communication. Remember my words. It is the time to realize I need to kind of like move forward. I need to kind of like get out of it. That's the whole kind of like point over here. And of course this one is also reversed. Then we have 6 of C. I think you're dealing with somebody, so that's what I said. It could be parents. It could be somebody you know very well for such a long time. It could be a friend from a sky high school, a friend from university, somebody who you knew when you were younger. Or it could be simply dreamy Pisces going in that la la land and kind of like dream up on all things that have been so nice for you along the path. I think dream world is something that we kind of like retrieve to when we need shelter, when we need something coming. It's going to really feel that whatever you touch is kind of like not going in a good direction. But the truth is that actually everything that is happening is pushing you towards the new beginning. Everything over here is kind of clearing it. You're actually already in a new beginning. You're just not realizing the direction where you are going. It's like when the boat is like in the dark and you might think you're lost, but like the boat really knows where it's going. So I really want to see a few things. I want to see the sky tone. Why is the sky tone here for the Pisces? Sky tone for Pisces. And I'm getting this. I'm getting thoughts and haughtiness. As I said, there's like somebody who kind of like is brainy, somebody who likes to vocalize their things, and actually they speak too much for their own good. But somebody who is very proud. They cannot take being vulnerable, and I really think that's how they protect themselves, with harshness. You know, if you really look at a crab or lobster that we had here, they have like a really kind of like solid kind of like shield because they're very soft inside. This person also actually is very vulnerable from what I see, but they're really not able to show that because they feel embarrassed. There is like something looks like that somebody did to you which has caused possibly also them to feel in jeopardy for some kind of reason. Haughtiness is a really good card, but haughtiness is also talking about the resurrection of Jesus Christ, where there is like this new beginning. So if there is like somebody from the past, which definitely this could indicate that maybe it felt like that, you know, you're going in a dark phase with this person and you really are at your wit's end with how to deal with this person. But the truth is, if you kind of like understand this from a very compassionate side, this person is actually really asking for help. And the harsher they behave, I know it's counterintuitive, the more they're asking for help. So engaging with them is only going to defeat this entire kind of like circumstance. So let me see the strength card. Why is the strength card here for you? The strength card for Pisces. And you have service and melody. I'm wondering if somebody here is getting depressed. If, as I said, it kind of like feels for me that you have been saddled with a whole big range of opportunities, almost like you may be carrying family burdens, everything that you need to do for your parents, for your mother, for your father, and maybe you're caring for the sick ones, and at the same time you don't have the strength yourself. So it's going to be very, very important this period of time to be very self-nourishing. I mean, the floating cat is saying the sacrifices are needed, and I think you're saying, okay, well, I'll keep sacrificing, but not at a cost where you kind of lose your life, where you lose your energy. This is kind of like really powerful situation where you're strong, and because you're strong, like two of them are relating in that strength. Because this person is strong, they're so strong, they're willing to listen to the other people and put themselves in a situation that is like very unfavorable for them, right? Where they can really understand what is really, really going on in this person's kind of like head, which I really think now you can kind of like get that. And what else I really want to see here? And I want to see that healing. Why is the healing card there for Pisces? Healing. Yes, merchant and conversation. Merchant card to me does talk about work. It could be about expectation, about promotion. You could be actually really talking about it. Some of you, it doesn't look like you got it. Some of you did get it and it was like not what you really, really wanted. Now you need to create a new circle of confidence, people who will be there for you, who will actually try to work with you, but at the same time you have a feeling that, hey, are these people there to harm me, or do they want to actually take my position, right? This also talks to me about long distance relationships, something that has been invested into, and some conversations need to take place. And I really think this healing card is reversed because it's asking you to put yourself always first. I also feel you're going to be the healer in this like period of time, but you definitely have to realize that you cannot heal others if you're out of energy. And it looks like you have been working on reserve for quite a long time, and you guys need to get a good night's sleep. You guys need to kind of like have that space for yourself, whatever it is, a subway ride, a bus ride, sitting on a bench in a park, turn off the phone for 7 days, for a few hours, for half an hour, and just like have this time for yourself. That is what is going to really, really recharge your battery, and you're going to get where you really, really need to be. So this is really, really important. And let me get one more card for you here to seal your reading for Pisces. Pisces, can you give me advice for Pisces? And you're getting education reversed. So let's see what this is all about. It says, life is filled with lessons. Be teachable. Stubbornness and desire to know it all and be right no matter what will not get you what you want. Or could it be that you're afraid to be seen as someone who knows less than you're supposed to? Could you be flying through life by the seat of your pants, hoping no one will notice you're skimming the surface of things? Life is filled with lessons, some bitter, some sweet. A straitened lust for certainty will never bring you the wisdom you seek. Pretending to know more than you do not make you wise. Be assured that not knowing is a magical place to be. All manner of mysteries are revealed. Be open. It's okay not to know. And I really think this is like same thing here. You have been strong for such a long time that you kind of like absorb this, that I'm strong, I'm not going to show emotions because other people depend on me. But you kind of like wore yourself out. In fact, it's saying you're stubborn. Kind of like it's okay to say, oh, I really can't, and I really don't know. And instead of like trying to be that pillar, which is basically right now being chipped at the base. So you're actually realizing this is what basically is happening. It will be a very big surprise to you how little will be needed for you to jump back on your feet, to be back in the game, to get back your optimism, to moderate your own interaction with the other people, and them all of a sudden turning around and being way more communicative and productive with you. I would say spare yourself from engaging into any kind of like brash agreements. If people really want to force their will, instead of like you engaging and fur flying everywhere, just say, okay, sure, I don't know, I need to think about it. Like it's kind of like something that is really, really disarming, and it's basically not leaking the strength and energy out of you. So it's going to be an interesting month. I would love to get your comments, and of course, Pisces, I would like to kind of like get your opinion. And if you really want a private reading, as I said, you need to check the other aspects because this is a general, it might not be anything like this. Just reach out to me via cattarot.ca. Okay guys, you know that I love you, and until the next time, all the best.